were there planes that were hijacked? And if yes, who was flying those planes?
That's a false premise because aluminum airplanes cannot melt steel beams, Charlie.
Yeah,
That's
I got
like,
that.
like
But no,
Al-Qaeda terrorists.
Back up. Did the
They can definitely bend them.
planes hit the towers?
Sure.
Okay, but so planes were hijacked at some point.
For sure, yeah.
So whether for show or whether theatrics or whether for the actual intent, I need to know, in the theory that it was the Israeli government, who did the hijacking.
Hi guys, this is Sahar TV, and in today's video we'll see Charlie Kirk debating a person claiming that Israel did 9/11. Let's watch their arguments.
Howdy, Mr. Kirk. How are you doing today? Good. All right, a couple things. I'll make it really quick. So first thing I disagree with you on, Mr. Kirk, is, I don't know, there's this viral video going around on the internet. Some guy's talking to you about 9/11, and your rebuttal to that was, oh, well, they found their passports. Do you know who did the attacks? Like, do you believe Al-Qaeda did that?
I did not say the passports for the record, but
okay,
the passports admittedly are the most suspicious part of the entire situation, but that doesn't necessarily mean the Israeli government planned the attack, right?
So who do you attribute to Building 7 just like collapsing into its own
footprint? It's a really good question.
According to a video that I watched, by the way, Building 7 collapsed from uncontrolled fire that weakened the beams, the core beams of the building. And because the fire department was dealing with the World Trade Centers, nobody was dealing with Building 7.
Don't know. And in fact, you're allowed to be in the position of not knowing. That was always my position. So I actually am batting down ulterior theories, and you could still not know. So,
is it bad to like consider perhaps the Israeli government was behind
so
it?
let's build that out. I want to, so in your favor, you would say that there were 5 Israelis that were, by an eyewitness, that were dancing when they saw...
Dancing Israelis,
No, I mean, that's the thing,
knows.
right? They were questioned by the FBI and then sent back to Israel. They then did a television interview where one of them said something a little bit questionable, but not quite a smoking gun.
We were sent there to document the event.
I got it. I'm giving you your argument, right? The event.
Yeah.
But now the burden of proof is on you or your general position. Were there planes that were hijacked? And if yes, who was flying those planes?
That's a false premise because aluminum airplanes cannot melt steel beams, Charlie.
Yeah, I got
like,
that. But no,
Al-Qaeda terrorists.
Back up. Did the
They can definitely bend them.
planes hit the towers?
Sure.
Okay, but so planes were hijacked at some point.
For sure, yeah.
So whether for show or whether theatrics or whether for the actual intent, I need to know, in the theory that it was the Israeli government, who did the hijacking.
I don't think the hijacking is where we need to be looking. I think we
No, but you got to answer the question, though, because the burden of proof, that's really important, right? That's a fundamental part of the entire story, is that there were a couple planes that were hijacked in midair. And so how did that happen? Was it spontaneous? Was it planned? And if so, who would give up their life willingly to go fly a plane into a tower? Well, a radical Muslim would, so tell me who else would do that.
Well, I don't think we really know who hijacked the planes. The only thing we have to go off of is the passports that the FBI found on ground zero,
Respect.
right?
I think that is sus. I got it. But the point being is...
Well, the challenge with this argument is that we literally have recordings of Muhammad Atta, one of the hijackers that took over the plane, speaking. Let's listen to it now.
Is that American 11 trying to call?
Buddy, we have some planes. Just stay quiet and you'll be okay. We're returning to the airport.
And who's trying to call me here? American 11, are you trying to call?
Nobody move. Everything will be okay. If you try to make any move, you'll injure yourself and the airplane. Just stay quiet.
Yeah, Muhammad Atta looks like an Israeli to me, no?
No, the passports are the weirdest part of the whole thing.
Pretty weird.
That out of all, like everything gets incinerated and all of a sudden they find passports on the ground. I get it.
Yeah.
However, I don't think we're in a position to make like anywhere close to say, oh, it was the Israeli government because we found passports on the ground, right? I mean, if your whole argument is that there were 5 Israelis dancing.
That's not my whole argument.
Oh, then build out the whole argument.
Yeah, so leading up to this attack on the Twin Towers, are you familiar with the art group, the Israeli art group, I might add? They go by Gelatin. Have you heard of them?
No, were they one of the people in the towers that weren't there that day, or?
No, you're thinking of Larry Silverstein, who was on the record of saying, I had a compelling urge to own the buildings because he purchased the buildings very soon before the terror attacks. I'm referring to the Israeli art group.
No,
Sorry, Charlie. Yeah, so look it up. They go by Gelatin. You can find it in the archives on the internet. They had this art project. It was literally called the B Thing. B as in Bravo, the B Thing. Kind of suspicious, right? These people were given unfeathered access to both Twin Towers when even employees who clocked in and clocked out there every day did not have access to the building like these people did. They had harnesses. There's pictures of them because this was their art project, right? So it's very well documented. You can see them moving giant boxes into the towers. And their whole stunt, the reason they did that was to hang a mannequin supposedly out of one of the windows. I don't think it lines up. I think they spent a lot more
I'll
time
look
in
into it.
there.
I don't know about that.
Look into it. Look into it. Seriously.
Again, I'm open-minded for every theory. I think it's. Can you agree? Maybe not. That it's really damaging to say therefore it must be. And it was even more on top of it. The man in question in that video said it was the Jews. So not even that it was the Israeli government.
Well, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's where my response was prompted. Like, come on.
I hear you.
Now, got it. But you got to deal with the hijackers. You got to deal with Flight 93, and you also got to deal with one other component. Osama bin Laden took credit for it, and he blamed America's love of Israel for the reason that 9/11 happened. So were we like working with bin Laden? Was it a CIA plant? Now we're getting like really deep, right?
Well, yeah.
Exactly, because bin Laden took responsibility for the 9/11 attack and said that we did this because America's aid to Israel, then that's disproving your point of Israel committing the attack. Somebody took credit and owned it. Yet it's so simple for people to just say, hold on, let's look for different theories. Okay, the Muslims are admitting they did it, but let's look this way. Yeah, it's the Israelis.
It can go pretty deep, and that's why
I'm asking, what is the theory? And
so the theory is, right, bin Laden was definitely an asset. There's multiple videos of him dancing to Katy Perry. There's pictures of him playing Counter-Strike on his computer.
That doesn't mean
cave,
he's a
right?
not everyone who plays Counter-Strike is a CIA asset.
What
Okay.
kind of Al-Qaeda terrorist would do those kind of things? What kind of Al-Qaeda terrorist is westernized like that? You know.
We know from his hard drive he was a real sick puppy.
Definitely, no
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt about that, Charlie.
So,
but I would encourage you to look into Gelatin and the B thing.
I'll look into that.
Because I think that's more important than the planes, because a plane didn't hit Building 7, but it still
You
collapsed.
are correct, but we can agree planes did hit the two towers. Now, some people say there was only one plane or there weren't planes. That's complete
Who's to
BS.
say? Who's to say? Right?
No, it's BS. We know families that had people on those planes. The real manifest, real people you could talk to. It's not fake. That's legit. There were passengers on these planes, and they died and they perished. So we have to figure that out. But
I hear you.
The best argument is the passports in Building 7. Those two things have never made sense to me.
Building 7 does have an explanation, and I'm going to play the video right now so we can watch the video together.
On the evening of September 11th, 2001, after the world witnessed the tragic collapse of the World Trade Centers, a nearby building mysteriously collapsed, the WTC-7. How did this almost perfect-looking building collapse? The key to this mystery lies in this video footage. Did you notice a sharp V-shaped dent at the top of the building well before the main collapse? This was the penthouse of WTC-7. Exactly below this dent, you'll be able to observe the three main columns of the building. You can conclude that this dent happened simply because these three columns collapsed. The WTC-7 also had a perimeter tube design. 24 central core columns carried the main weight of the building. The core and perimeter tubes were connected using many horizontal girders. Unlike the other buildings, the WTC-7 had a penthouse, which carried heavy cooling equipment. Let's simplify the geometry of the girders for an easier-to-understand visual. You can see the penthouse of the building was structurally supported by the core columns. Here comes another twist. All 24 of these core columns do not extend all the way to the ground directly like this. When construction of the WTC-7 began, there was already an electrical substation on the site. Although the authorities didn't want to demolish this building, the location of the substation was interfering with some core columns. Exactly 8 core columns. From the north side, this building looks intact. But let's turn the camera to the south side. This was the true condition of the building, enduring a huge fire, with a big gash on the perimeter columns. This is real video footage of the World Trade Center Building 7 from the opposite angle. You can see clearly here that the fire in the building was spreading on a large scale. You can imagine the damage it must have caused in the building. The WTC-7 had fires on multiple floors, burning over several hours. Because firefighters were busy saving the lives of those in the collapsed WTC-1 and 2, they were unable to suppress the fire in this building. Did you notice a long gash on the south side of the building? How exactly did this happen? The only way the perimeter columns of WTC-7 create such a long and consistent gash is due to the fall of the spire from the north tower. Look at this image. They're pretty close. Anyway, the south side of WTC-7 developed such a long breach of the perimeter columns. This is evident from this image.
Here is one famous photograph from the WT-7 debris. The I-shaped structure you see here are the girders of the building. Did you notice a strange 90-degree bend on them? How did this happen?
Anyways, guys, I'm going to include the full video of this in the description below so you can watch and come to your own conclusion. It's got an explanation, and I also had the same questions before, and then I watched it and it clarified everything. And also, let's watch the interview with the dancing Israelis.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad. The fact of the matter is, we are coming from a country that experiences terror daily. Our purpose was to document the event.
This kid said we documented the event. So the people under the Twin Towers that documented the event, are they also a part of the Mossad? The people filming and documenting the Twin Towers collapse from different parts of New York City are also part of the Mossad? What a stupid way of twisting people's words so they fit into your narrative. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Please don't forget to join our Discord down in the description below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy specific YouTube perks. Thank you for being here.